Start. The Delhi Transport Service Enquiry Committee, which investigated the working of the service, has recommended that with the 252 buses that will be serviceable for the next 2 years, the management should concentrate on the efficient working of the existing 30 routes and consolidate its financial position. Plans for further expansion of the routes should wait until concrete improvement has been achieved. While examining the fleet strength of the service, the committee found out that of the 328 buses now in operation, 66 are totally unserviceable and will have to be scrapped immediately. Another 44 buses, which have almost outlived their lives, will have to be scrapped also in the near future. The committee feels that of the 81 vehicles which have almost for depreciated, 74 can be renovated with new bodies and 7 with new engines, and thus give further useful service for about 2 years. 34 new diesel buses are expected within 2 months, bringing the total number of buses available for operation to 252. The following are the other recommendations of the committee. The earnings per bus mile have shown a deterioration during the last 2 years. A systematic traffic survey should be carried out on all the routes as a permanent feature. This may reveal possibilities of carrying more passengers with less number of buses, for example, by introduction of short distance shuttle services and long distance express services during peak hour. To prevent leakage of revenue, inspection staff should be strengthened. Responsible officers should personally supervise sample booking on each route during peak hours. To reduce the waiting time to passengers during rush hours, a system of advance booking should be arranged at selected places. Daily records of consumption of fuel vehicle wise should be maintained and regularly checked. Likewise, records of breakdowns classified according to causes, consumption of tires vehicle wise, and consumption of batteries should be systematically maintained. In order to eliminate dead mileage, for depots should be provided in convenient localities as against the two present congested depots. Workshop facilities which are extremely adequate oblique inadequate at present should be stepped up, and a central workshop on austerity standards should be constructed within 12 months. An assistant executive engineer should be placed on special duty for the planning and execution of these works. A preventive maintenance system should be immediately introduced, providing for an even flow of vehicles through the service shops and maintenance of service records of each vehicle in order to ensure that breakdowns are reduced to the minimum. Measures for removing the existing deficiencies have been suggested, particularly the provision of evening training classes for mechanics when the new workshop is set up, and the holding of service meetings by the works manager for exchange of views with the staff to ensure effective supervision. Departmental manuals and standing orders clearly laying down the duties and responsibilities of several grades of staff should be prepared and copies made available to all concerned. While Madras has done completely dry and Bombay will be so in April, other states are hastening slowly with the policy of prohibition. In Uttar Pradesh, prohibition is in force in several districts, but just because total prohibition has not been introduced to charge the government of following a halting and wholeheartedly policy, as several MLAs did when the Uttar Pradesh Assembly proceeded to discuss the grant under excise is hardly fair. Total prohibition is the goal, and if the Uttar Pradesh government follow a policy of gradualness, there are weighty considerations behind it, in the sense that the criticism reflects the public desire for total prohibition. Even the government must have been pleased about it. The Ministry for Excise has made it clear that there is no change in the government's policy of total prohibition by well defined stages. In the dry districts, prohibition enforcement officers are to give place to the police, the minister contending that if the latter could deal with all other items, they could also be left to tackle infractions of prohibition as well. Prohibition is, in the initial stages, a costly business. Not only do the government stand to lose the substantial excise revenue, but they have also to employ a large number of enforcement officers to prevent smuggling or illicit distillation. It is this financial strain on the government at a time of general economic difficulties that accounts for the centre's directive to the state governments to proceed cautiously with their prohibition policies. But inasmuch as what is lost by the state government by way of excise revenue is more than counterbalanced by the moral and material benefits to the people, it is to the credit of the state governments that have gone ahead with prohibition and have not allowed means to deter the ants.